Pago's ready to go. So find yourself in a comfortable seated position. And let's start with centering ourselves on our mats with double breath with tension. So when you're ready, go ahead and inhale twice through the nose and tense everything up. Draw the energy into the center. And then on your exhale through the mouth, let everything go. 2 more times. And normal breath. Let's bring your palms together at heart center and bow your head forward to stretch the back of your neck. We'll hold for a few breaths. Draw your shoulder blades down and back. Feel that your shoulders are right on top of your hips. Lift your chest towards your chin. One more deep breath, lifting your chest towards your chin. And lift your head, rest the backs of your hands on your thighs. Okay, we're going to do Paschimottanasana or forward fold, and ideally with your hips on height to start. So I've got, I'm actually going to get my blankets, but you can use a pillow or a bolster. We'll do hips high, come to the edge of your support, reach your legs out straight, and start by sitting up tall. Try to come to neutral spine, so not letting your spine round. So sit up nice and tall. And if you have a strap, you might need one, because when we're going to go ahead, fold forward with the chest first. Lift the chest, and with each inhale, think lift the chest and lengthen the spine. And each exhale, round forward. Now you can use your strap around both of your feet if you need to. We're going to work our way into this pose for a minute or so. And when you feel like you've come as far as you can go ahead and let your head round down. But it's more about lengthening your chest towards your feet than it is about getting your head to your legs. And keep your legs strong here, engaging your quads to straighten your knees, and make sure your feet are even. So we tend to want to sickle our feet inward, but instead reach the pinky toe side of your foot back towards you.
Each inhale, bringing a little bit more length through the spine. Each exhale, rounding forward. Just subtle movements. You can never feel bored in a yoga pose. There's always something you can bring your awareness to. There's always some little micro movement you can do. One more breath. Good, and we'll inhale and walk your hands slowly back up to a seated position. All right, let's do a little movement here. I'm going to come to all fours. Let's work into our cat-cow, leading with the pelvis. So lift your tailbone, let your whole spine arch, and then start by tucking your tailbone and vertebrae by vertebrae round. And move with your breath, inhaling up and exhaling round. We'll move into our moving cat-cow. Exhale, hips back to heels. Inhale, pull forward. Undulating the spine. Pulling forward and really reaching through the fingertips on the way back. Getting the whole body involved. And meet me back in quadruped. We're going to move into our downward facing dog. If you have a wall handy, let's do downward facing dog with our hands at the wall. So I usually put my finger and thumb at the wall. It just helps me bring a little more space to my low back. So I'll move over here. If you don't have a wall handy, totally fine to do it on your mat. So go ahead and press into your downward facing dog. And we'll hold for a few breaths. Lifting your sit bones high to the sky and bring space to your lumbar region, your low back, sacral area. Keep your awareness there. Breathe space into that area. Good, and then come back down. And let's rest in a nice child's pose. Let's bring the knees wide, big toes together. Really sit those hips back down on your heels. If you can't get your hips to your heels, take a blanket or a pillow, put it between the hips and heels so you get that contact between your hips and your heels. Reach your arms forward and stretch. And while you're in child's pose, grab the edges of your mat and push them away from you. So when you push them away from you, it helps you to bring your pelvis down even closer to your And slowly on your inhale, come back up. Okay, we're going to do some variations of seated forward fold or Paschimottanasana. So grab 2 blankets. If you don't have blankets, maybe some pillows. So what I'm going to do here is roll each blanket. I'm going to take it like this and make a roll. Okay, and one more. Also 2 yoga mats, 2 extra yoga mats would do, rolled up. Okay, so I'm going to take my first roll, place it on my mat, and I'm going to sit on this blanket. Here, I'll do it to the side so you can see better. And I'm actually going to have it's so that it's at the very top of my femur with my sacrum dropping down off the edge of the blanket roll. Okay, so we're going to inhale, lengthen through your spine. Feet, toes pointing up. Again, if you need a strap, wrap it around your feet. Sit up nice and tall, grab that strap, lift your chest, and then exhale, round. If you can grab your feet here, go ahead. And then same thing as last time. We're going to inhale the chest, lifting the chest, and exhale, round. So you'll feel, so just notice first before I tell you what I feel. What does it feel like to have your hips on this roll with your tailbone dropping off the back of it? What does that do for you in this pose? For me, it feels like it creates a little bit more of an opening in my sacrum and tailbone area, because we're getting that gravity is just pulling the sacrum down a little bit more. But it might be different for you. This is a little bit more of a yin practice, so we're holding the poses for a little bit longer so we can get the fascia, not only the muscles, but also the fascia to release. It takes about 3 to 5 minutes for fascia to release. Opening up the backs of the knees, reaching the pinky toe side of your foot back. Let's do 2 more breaths here. Good, and I'll inhale, come out of that. And we can just take this away for a moment. Just lean back, shake your legs out. Maybe roll side to side, stretching it out a little bit. Okay. So now the next one is with the blanket roll under your ankles. So we've got it right under those ankles.
Now, if you're really rounding here, definitely put some blankets under your pelvis like we did on the first one. But if not, go ahead and lift up. Maybe put that strap around your feet. That can help you. If you pull on the strap, you can get that. See how my spine really straightens out here using the strap. Okay. And then round forward, reaching your chest towards your feet. Same thing here. Really inhaling the chest forward, and then go ahead and round down. Notice how this one feels different. You might feel yourself melting into this pose. A little bit more, little bit more. Good, and then we'll inhale out of that one. Okay, we've got two more. Well, one more with the blankets, and then just a full Paschimottanasana. So we're going to grab both of your blanket rolls, and now we're doing both. So we're going to put this under your hips with your sit bones and tailbone kind of hanging off the back, and then position the other blanket under your ankles. And you can move your sit bones out to the side. Grab your strap. Lift your chest. Pull those toes back equally. If you feel like you're sickling your feet, then that's a sign of back tightness. So really push through the ball of your foot, big toe mound of your foot, and think about the big toe being in line with the pinky toe, straight across. And then exhale, round forward and come into this variation of the pose. And notice how this feels. Slightly different. Make any adjustments you might feel like. Get my tailbone back a little bit. There we go. This series can be really good for chronic low back tension, because it takes a while for that tension to work itself out. Do one more breath. Good. And then we'll inhale up and remove all the props. And let's shake it out. And roll side to side again. All right, we've got one more Paschimottanasana just straight on the floor. Here we go. Grab your strap. Inhale, lift the chest, toes back. Bring length through the backs of your knees. And then exhale forward. So here we get the opportunity to notice how this feels different than the first time we did this pose in this class. Couple more breaths. And gently walk your way out of your Paschimottanasana. Whew, well done. That is not easy to hold that pose. All right, next is Janu Shirshasana, or head of the knee pose. So you can use height for this one under your hips if you tend to round your low back. We're going to bring your hook underneath the inner left knee and bring it back. Okay, so your knee should be out to the side or maybe even a little farther back, and then draw that inner foot towards the inner right leg. Okay, again, you can use a strap for this one. We're going to first twist your body to the right. Let's do a little twist here. And then come to, with your chest facing your right foot, we're going to put the strap around your foot, lift your chest tall, flex your right toes back, and then exhale forward. You can grab your foot. And we'll be here for a minute. Just working on opening the back of your knee, keeping your right leg active, and lengthening your chest towards your foot. Good, and we'll walk our way out of this one. And lift your left knee up, support it, and let it out straight. Now grab underneath your left knee and bring it back, and bring that knee way back. Okay, now twist towards the left. Get a nice twist through your spine. Well, go for it. Janu Shirshasana on the left. So have your strap, reach your chest up tall, and then exhale your chest towards your foot. Grab your foot and stretch. Do one more breath. And gently walk our way out of this one, Janu Shirshasana. And we'll bring those legs to meet each other and shake it out. Okay, we're going to do a little hip action here. So, bring your legs out to the side a little bit and grab underneath your right knee and bring your foot in. We're going to do it a few times each side. So left side, really pull with your left hand, bring that foot in, kind of like a half butterfly position, and back out. We're pulling it in, gently pushing down on the femur and out to spread through the inner line of your thigh. And feel a nice stretch, gentle stretch and relaxation through your pelvis. Good. And then meet me with your legs out to the side. Upavishta, and we will do Upavishta Konasana. So let's place your hands behind your back. Just lift your pelvis up, maybe scooch forward, and try to get so where you're sitting right on top of your sit bones. Now again, if you tend to round your low back, sit on some height. So let's just hold this pose here. Reach through your heels. Open the backs of the knees. Spine tall, toes pointing straight up. And if you'd like a little extra, you can go ahead and fold forward. Really, don't forget about the energy in your legs. Reach through your heels. And we'll come out of this one. And let's grab the inner knees. Bring your feet into Baddha Konasana, or butterfly pose. So with this forward fold, we're actually going to bring the feet further away from the pelvis. Okay? This makes it a little bit different for when we forward fold. You might feel more length through your lumbar. So again, we're going to do a forward fold here. So lift your spine up nice and tall, and then exhale, come forward. So your feet should be
And if you were to drop your head into your feet, they'd be right there. So kind of adjust as necessary. I get a little hip pinching, so I like to give a little support under my knees. That is not necessary if you don't have that. I'll just be here for a few breaths. And roll up. Well done. Check this. Okay, so we're going to do, there's a couple of options here. I'm going to keep it simple today. So, time is 12:30, so we're going to come onto your back. And let's just do the knees to chest series. So bring your right knee into your chest and pull your right knee towards your right shoulder. Reach through your left leg to open up the left hip flexor. Good, and then switch. And then we'll bring both knees into the chest. Have a nice hug, nice squeeze. And then bring your knees so that they're over your pelvis. And we're just going to rock, kind of roll around. So just feel your sacrum rolling on the floor. So giving yourself a nice little low back sacral massage. Excellent. Okay, grab your block if you have one nearby. And we're going to do, it's going to be like shoulder stand, but modified on a block. So we're just going to bring the block underneath your sacrum. Make sure it's not on your low back, that it's right under your sacrum. Okay. And then we're just going to raise the feet up. Like so. Tuck your shoulder blades underneath. And we'll hold this position for a minute. Bring some energy into your legs to open up the backs of the knees. Reach through the heels, reach your toes back towards your nose. Just let your sacrum drop into the block. If you don't have a block, you can also just use blankets or a pillow, something to get your hips a little bit higher than the floor. And gently release that. Bring your feet to the floor and just enjoy this nice bridge pose with the block under your hips, under your pelvis. And then lift your hips,
Release the block. Okay, you're going to roll onto your side, come to all fours, and we're going to move into another downward facing dog, just to notice if it feels any different from all this releasing we've done. Press your hands into the floor, tuck your toes, lift your hips high. And we'll just hold Adho Mukha Svanasana for a couple of breaths. And then walk your feet towards your hands into a standing forward fold. And then walk your feet wide to Prasarita Padottanasana. Bring your hips so that they're over the heels and you're not leaning back or forward. Lengthen through the backs of the knees. And we'll do some twisting, so bring your left hand to your right ankle, raise your right arm up. And switch right hand to left ankle, raise your left arm up. And then just bring your left hand down to the floor, right under your shoulder. Again, we'll twist the right arm up. And then switch. Bring your palms to the floor again. Bring your feet hip to the mat width. We're going to move down into our yogi squat. So you can always put a block behind you or do this at the wall. But go ahead, when you're ready, move into that squat. Lift your chest, feel your tailbone dropping down to the floor. Nice low back release. This one is definitely challenging, but there are a lot of modifications you can use. Like I said, you could sit on something, or you can put a little blanket roll underneath your heels. Makes it a lot easier. Actually, if you have a blanket roll, go ahead and put it under your heels. And we're going to work into rounding your lumbar now and reaching back behind you. This feels like an extra good stretch. It's just so much easier with a blanket roll under your heels. Okay, and then we can drop out of that one. Good. Just shake the legs out again. Okay. Let's do some restorative poses to sort of release some of all those forward folds. So we're going to do some slight back bends. Now grab a pillow or a bolster. Let me see here. And we're going to just rest in a nice supported cobra. So that's why I like to have a bolster or something to prop you up, because it's just much easier to hold. I'm just going to hold for a minute or two like this. Now if you have any low back pain with this or tension, you can always just round forward.
or just do a little bit less height. Good, and then just let yourself rest down for a moment. Okay, now we're going to bring your bolster, or you can fold a blanket, a couple blankets on top of each other like this, and put them there. Do a nice chest opening pose. So come to your bolster, lay back, and drag yourself back until your shoulders are on the floor. Good, and let your legs release. Find that comfortable position for you. If you don't have any of these props that make sense, you could lay on your back with the pillow just underneath your shoulder blades to get a nice chest opening. And we'll gently come out of this pose. So just roll to your side. Okay, now you're going to take your support or your height. Just going to take a blanket fold. You could use your bolster or a pillow or anything. And you're going to place that underneath your pelvis now. You're laying on your stomach. It's also kind of nice to have a blanket roll under your ankles, but you don't need to. Like this. My pelvis is just going to go right on the blanket or the pillow. This gives a little support to the pelvis, and just rest your hands, your head, forehead on the back of your hands. Now reach through each leg and rotate it inward so that the big toes come to touch each other. And the heels roll out. We're going to gently press back into a supported child's pose. So if you've got a pillow or something, place it between your knees. And just rest forward. Turn your head to one side. Just enjoy a nice child's pose. Turn your head to the other side to stretch the other side of your neck. And we'll come into our Shavasana. So I feel like for this Shavasana, if you have something to place under your knees, it would be a really nice way to give that final little relaxation to your low back. One of my favorites is a blanket roll on top of a bolster, but anything will do. When you come back, make sure you tuck your tailbone under, lengthen through your low back. Good, and then tuck each shoulder blade underneath you. Open your chest. Have your palms reaching up towards the ceiling. Let your feet roll out to the side. And rest. Allow your low back to really sink into the floor. Begin to lengthen your breath. Bring your awareness back into your body. Roll to your side. Take a breath here, allowing your body to sink into the ground. Keeping your head and neck relaxed, we're going to gently push up with your arms. Find a comfortable seated position. We'll end with one Om together. Hands, palms together at the sternum. Inhale. The light in me sees and honors the light in you. Namaste.